Today we will talk about the Georgian period in American architecture. As you read in the textbook, widely used architectural labels such as Georgian and Federal are derived from historical period, and they have in turn come to elicit very specific visual images. No doubt you would soon be able to visualize and cite examples of those styles yourselves too. In any case, that's why say Hampton Plantation in Townsend, Maryland, was not built while the Georgian of England followed by American between 1740 and 1775, but nevertheless is classified as Georgian. Well, the image runs ahead of reality, actually behind reality in this case, doesn't it? Georgian style refers to style originating in England in the 1600s based on the form following the classical principles of design developed by Andrea Palladio during the Italian Renaissance. In the mid-1700s, architect Indigo Jones and Christopher Wren began design doing using design principles. This style became widely popular in England, replacing the medieval. The Georgian period in American architecture began about 1700 with the construction of the Wren Building at the College of William and Mary. It was named after its architect, although old architecture history books extended this period in American architecture until 1830 and the end of the reign of George IV. Most scholars now agree that in America, the style generally ran its course by the 1780s. The 8-year hiatus of the construction during the Revolutionary War essentially ended the Georgian period of the architecture in its original form. Later, it would be renewed in the revival style. Thus, this is one of the longest-lived architectural styles in America. Well, many of the founders of the nation lived in plantas and capacious buildings along the eastern seaboard, which are built in this style, and their sites of historical events of the Revolutionary War that we can still visit were built in this style too. Another note toward the extent is that the earlier style disseminated from craftsmen through the direct experience and the printing system. The Georgian architecture has spread among the builders through the new medium and inexpensive collection of engraving as well. Leone's first English publication of Paradis works between 1716 and 1720, and a host of other handbooks of England all influenced American building arts and increased the academic form of quality of the Georgian style. And eventually, from the mid-18th century, Georgian style was assimilated into an architectural parlance so that they became part and parcel of the training of every cabin and plastered from Edinburgh to Maryland. So Georgian design reached the American colonies in the form of architectural manual and pattern books by the mid-1700s, when New England was enjoying its building boom. Wealth was accumulating on the eastern seaboard. Wealthy captains, merchants, shipyard owners, and mill owners were developing new social classes. New standards of sophistication and elegance were being established. In the colonies, style now matters. Many of those in the Virgin wealthy classes visited England and looked to England for presidents of fashion and taste. And though they found they are eager to have the new Georgian style homes that displayed status, wealth, and taste. So Georgian style was all over the place, from Maine to Virginia in the British colony. Just as Palladian in the 16th century had freely adopted the Roman classical forms and ran and his followers, the Hebrew Emirates welcomed this architecture. So did American builder borrowed English American auction horses and with a vengeance. This new style involved new concepts of living, and the multiplication of rooms led to increased specialization of rooms into separate rooms for sleeping, cooking, dining, and so forth. Comfort, convenience, and privacy were beginning to play a role in the colonies' lifestyle as they increased their wealth. After the Revolution, Georgian convention was slowly abandoned as a number of revival styles, such as Gothic revival, enrolled the design repertoire. Another reason for this was its association with the colonial regime. Curiously though, Pennsylvania continued building Georgian houses until the 1860s, the time of the Civil War, while New England abandoned the Georgian style for the most part before 1800. By the way, in Canada, Georgian period architecture was embraced as a sign of Canadian loyalty to Britain, and the style was dominated for most of the first half of the 19th century. Okay, let's look at the distinctive feature of the style. Georgian architecture is characterized by its sense of proportion and balance. Simple mathematical ratios were used to determine, for example, the height of a window in relation to its width or the shape of the room. Regular was a term of approval because it offered symmetry and adherence to classical rules. On the other hand, the lack of symmetry was perceived with a fatal flaw. Regularity of house fronts along a street was a desirable feature of Georgian town planning. Georgian design usually include one or more of the order of the architecture as some elements derived from the ancient Rome or Greece. Oh, what are orders? Yes. Orders are formal systems of proportion and ionic, Doric, and considered as a major critical orders. Yeah, now look at page 79. You can see this defining feature of Georgian architecture. Renaissance-inspired rigid classical symmetry, axial entrances, geometrical proportion, and sash windows in which the frame in the sash hold paint and glass. You see what I mean? As you may also notice, a British Georgian building has a hipped roof sloping down on all four sides. An American one-side gable roof. See? Now look at the drawing on page 81 for the full picture of the most dominant influence in Georgian architecture, namely Palladian. Well, the features of Palladian design were especially prevalent in the mid-Georgian period. Look at those the Virginia governors Forrest and Williams and Randy Hall. Yeah, these were the epitome. Two poles, which is a large poles, we usually use a roof for the support of the Georgian columns. And of course, even now, we often hear the term the Palladian window, a tall window with the flanking two small rectangles under our front entrance, and from all the periods since then. After almost a century of reviving European style, late 19th century American architects began to look at their own for a further model. Modify the style to accommodate their modern lifestyle and the taste of the new century. That is to say, they created their colonial revival style from the Georgian style. In their eagerness to ensure that their heritage would be recognized, the actors often exaggerated their case. They also had to find a way to apply 18th century details to buildings that were decided 19th century in size and function, such as railroad station and public schools. To accomplish this, elements of the Georgian style were emphasized in various ways. By changing the style by combination of features used in the ways unknown to the 18th century or simply by repetition. It is such emphasis that helps distinguish the parents from their child. So, even though we know the example of original Georgian and Georgian revival homes and buildings to consider, you'll be able to spot the original from the revival with enough time and practice. Can you read style popularity and vigorously explained in the last decades of the 19th century and the first of the 20th? It is still pretty much a part of architecture scene. Well, unfortunately, however, most modern examples suggest that the creative revival of the Georgian style is a thing of the past.